Hey, how's it going? This is Matt, and in today's video, we are going to be doing another matchup, this time against Zoodiac Tri-Brigade. And, oh, actually, I also have this Lyrilusk um, matchup here that I could do. I'll do that in a separate video. Okay, let's do the Tri-Brigade one first. I was just thinking, oh, these are both like animal decks. Maybe, I don't know, I could lump them into one video. My videos are long enough, yeah, so let's just get started. Yeah, so game one, I do win the die roll, and I choose to go first. So they have a pretty good opening hand. The only thing that's not so good is like a duplicate ash, I guess. Um, and I have a really solid opening hand too. Gozen Match, uh, I feel like is always an MVP card in almost every matchup. Like it's just so good. The only problem is like at my locals it's not as good because like I just don't see very many. There's zero Fluenderies in my locals. Like no like one Sword Soul. Like I think only one Tri-Brigade. Yeah, a lot of Speedroid. So I don't know. I'll probably like in real life probably take out Gozen Match. So simply because I'm just not seeing the decks that I'm expecting to seeing like at my locals. Yeah, this last locals is pretty brutal. Yeah. Okay, so let's get. I'll get into that later. So let's get started. Rod, search, gets ashed. I decided to call by the grave here. Um, in retrospect, that was probably a greedy call by the grave. Because I don't have Dark Magician Girl, right? So it's not like I'm gonna net two cards off of this Rod. I probably should have allowed the Ash and save Call by the Grave in case they try to Veiler my uh, like Anaconda. But I think Tri-Brigade. I don't even know if Tri-Brigade runs Veiler. I think like if I, like from recalling, I think Tri-Brigade runs Infinite Imperm, right? I don't think they run Veiler. So Call by the Grave doesn't work against Infinite Impermanence. So if they have Imperm, like it doesn't matter if I have Call by the Grave. But yeah, so I just Call by the Grave here. I mean, arguably I could have set this next turn instead of, and then like if they try to pop off using like their Fractal combo, I could immediately like banish Fractal, and then they don't get their other three names, right? And looking at his hand, yeah, I would have stopped Fractal, banished it, and then he would only have Kit, right? Like let's say I didn't Call by the Grave of the Sash, I set it. In this case, it probably would have been better for me to set it, simply because, granted, I didn't know what his hand was, right? He could have had multiple ways to get to his full combo. Like, if he had, like, Fractal Rescue Cat, like, he can get to his full combo, right? Even if I call by the Grave the Fractal. So, um, yeah, in retrospect, looking back, Call by the Grave would have been better set than used here in the Ash, but that's okay. Like, yeah, and the reasoning for why I didn't hold it against Anaconda is because, it's like there's like three ways in the deck to deal Anaconda. Cyframe Gamma, which you can't call by the grave. Imperm, you cannot call by the grave. And Veiler, I don't think Tri-Brigade runs Veiler, but I could be wrong. Actually, let me look at his deck. Uh, Rescue Cats. Okay, he does have Veiler in his deck. All right, so I guess I was wrong, but I swear like Tri-Brigade didn't run Veiler. Also, look at how many hand traps this guy has. Nibiru, Veiler, Imperm, Ash. Does he have Cyframe Gamma too? I don't think he does. Yeah, this is crazy. But anyway, so yeah, so maybe it would have been smarter to hold it just in case he had a Veiler, but I just didn't expect Tri-Brigade to have Veiler. Alright, guess it worked out this time. Alright, so I got Salvation, Artemis. Because of Artemis, I can special summon Ecclesia, right? Because Artemis is an extra deck monster. Yet more reasons to run Artemis. For those of you who still don't run Artemis, you need to be running Artemis in Dark Magician deck. It's just amazing. And it gets Rod to the Grave. Like, what more do you need? Anaconda, yeah, make sure you do not activate Ecclesia's on summon effect because it'll lock you out of the extra deck. So Anaconda, get Dragoon, and then I get Nadir Servant. So Nadir Servant can snatch Ecclesia from the graveyard, not just the deck. So keep that in mind. I think Lulz mentioned in one of his recent videos. Yeah, so this is nice because like the Nadir with the Titanic Clad like got me two cards, right? And allowed me to set. So I know because of Gozen Match, like I won't be able to use light monsters while I have dark monsters. But Gozen Match, like, but that's okay. Like this can be Dragoon discard fodder. It's just that Gozen Match is so good against Tri-Brigade. I just absolutely have to have it live, right? Let's see what he draws. So he draws a Karis. So, oh yeah. So see, even if I set Call by the Grave here, let's say he fractals at Call by the Grave, he can activate Karis, send Kit, Kit sends Nerval, um, and then Nerval grabs another Karis or a fractal. Yeah, he can still combo off. So saving Call by the Grave for his turn would not have made sense here. All right. So fractal, yeah. Tri-Brigade very linear. Kit, Nerval, Karis, very straightforward. Karis special summons. So I do not. The reason I don't negate the Karis effect is because I have Gozen Match, right? I feel like I'm not afraid of the Link 2. So most Tri-Brigades go Farragut and then Beer Bloom. Um, but then Bear Bloom is a fire, right? Whereas, these are Earths. So I just waited for this to hit the field, and then I immediately flip Gozen Match. So now he can't link into Bear Bloom. And which means he can't, and then he can't link further into, and he hasn't used his normal summon, so like normally he link into Bear Bloom, a normal Kit, maybe do another link, and then link away Bear Bloom, and then, he has full combo. But Kit is a fire, so these two are being Earths, like completely locks him out of doing anything else on his turn. So he enters battle phase. Karis kills Anaconda, so he goes for this attack here, which kind of telegraphed. Yeah, he pitched an Ash to droplet my Dragoon and kill it. Nothing I could really do about that. So he links away into Silver Sheller because it's an Earth monster, so he can do that. And I guess it's a better board to end on than these two. And also, sending Farragut to the graveyard draws him a card. Okay, so, yep, so it is a Zoodiac. The cool thing about Zoodiac is, like, they're all Earth. The engine is Earth monsters, but Zeus is a light, so he can't get to Zeus thanks to Gozen Match. So, anyway, end phase. Bring back Dark Magician. Cycle Rod. And then I summon, get Circle, and then summon Dark Magician, banish Silver Sheller. He chains to get a body on the field. Attack. And then on his turn, yeah, I set Soul Servant just so I can end phase put something on top of my deck without using, yeah. So he draws Rescue Cat, but yeah, he can't get to Zeus with this monster, and I don't know, like, so Rescue Cat, because it's Earth, can only grab Karis. So he normals Rescue Cat, and then I guess surrenders, because, like, he couldn't activate the effect, because, yeah, like, Gozen Match says, like, you have to have valid targets, to summon before you use effects that summon. So, my guess is, like, he could only bring out Kit, and Kit's a fire, or maybe Kit plus a Karis. Yeah, so he didn't have two. I guess he didn't have two because he had two Karis in his graveyard. He did not have two Karis in his deck, so therefore Rescue Cat could not activate at all, right? So yeah, so Gozen Match, like, just it's such an MVP card. All right, so let's get in the side deck real quick. So for side decking, I figured I was going second. I put in back row clear, right? Because against Tri-Brigade, you want to force the revolt early. So here's 4 back row removal cards, right? I always side out Nadir Servant. Although Nadir Servant technically is also back row clear if you send Intis, but yeah, I also took out. So I put in Nibiru because Nibiru is pretty good because they summon a lot on both turns. Like Revolt counts as 5 summons, right? So you can immediately like Nibiru his Ominous Omen. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, these 3. And then I took out Judgments. Oh, and I took out one more card, so I'm at 41. Maybe I only put 2 Nibirus, or maybe I took out Call by the Grave. I might have taken out Call by the Grave or Solemn Strike. I forget exactly, but like Call by the Grave, it's good against hand trap. Solemn Strike, because he can chain, like his Ominous Omen can just be chain blocked. Solemn Strike isn't that good. Like Solemn Strike is good against if he uses one of his Tri-Brigade monsters to link summon, like then Solemn Strike is good. But like going second against Tri-Brigade, like if he gets Revolt out, like I feel like Solemn Strike isn't good. So I put these 7 cards in, and those are the ones I took out. Pretty sure. So yeah, so that was my side decking for going second. Anyway, and then Cosmic Cyclone is just great for sniping. So let's see what game 2 looks like. Obviously, since you see here there's a game 3, he does win this one. So he draws a really good starting hand. Unfortunately, no Fractal, but that's the thing about Tri-Brigade. Like, they're so, like, I don't know, flexible. They don't even need Fractal to, like, get their full combo. So check this out. I mean, you've probably seen this. Rescue Cat brings out 2 bodies. Karis summons. Nerval grabs Fractal. Fractal sends. Grabs another Kit. Kit sends. Link summon Farragut into Bear Bloom. Get a draw. And then Appaloosa. Bam. And now he's set up. He has Revolt and he has Anti-Spell Fragrance. Like, this is probably the God hand. So when I see Appaloosa, I'm like, all right, I need to kill this monster, or I need to whittle down the attack, right? So I activate Fleurdelis, right, because I can do it on my opponent's turn to try to summon Fleurdelis, because a 2500 body will run over Appaloosa, but that forces a negate, because he knows that I can trample him. Alright, so he immediately on draw phase flips anti-spell fragrance, which is good because, you know, like, unlike Imperial Order, like, it's better to do it as soon as possible, right? Imperial Order, like, you can wait to chain it to a spell, but anti-spell fragrance, you really, like, you just do it as soon as you can. Since I have Cosmic Cyclone, I figured, alright, I'm going to chain this because it's a quick play, so I have 2 options. I could take out this anti-spell fragrance, or I can snipe his Revolt. I know this is Revolt because he searched it, right? Yeah, I'm going to go for the Revolt because I want to force him to use it now, and it's like, oh, anti-spell fragrance. Oh, I'm not going to be able to activate Circle this turn. Like, that's, you know, big whoop, right? That's not a big deal, right? Like, I can go a turn without using Circle. But I need to take out this Revolt now because I don't want to get banished. Like, I don't want him to banish one of my monsters. So I take out, you know, that forces him to activate it. So he brings out the 4, links into Silver Sheller, or Ominous Omen rather. Yeah, he doesn't use the banish because he has nothing to banish. So I attempt once again to summon Fleurdelis. He blocks with Appaloosa. I normal rod. Obviously, the effect is going to be negated. And then I just go into battle phase and run over Appaloosa. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, unfortunately, because I open with, like, 2 bricks, like Dark Magician, Girl, Dark Magician, there's not much else I can do. Like, Fleurdelis was negated, right? I can Artemis here, but like he's just gonna kill my Rod anyway, and it's not like I have Soul Servant where I can, you know, recycle Rod next, like on his turn anyway. So, yeah, this is a bad situation to be in. Like, all right, so he hard draws Revolt, so he's just gonna do like Fractal, Nerval, Karis, normal Karis. This case he's gonna go. Oh, he goes for Doom Eagle. Which makes sense because I have no monsters in graveyard. So this Doom Eagle becomes 4,800, and then he banishes my circle, which I guess is smart because he didn't know what it was. So I summon Fleurdelis as in defense mode because if I don't, I think he does he OTK? Would he OTK? No, he wouldn't OTK, but he'd be very close to OTKing. Yeah, and then he sets Revolt. At this point, like, this game is over. I just surrender because Eagle Booster. I don't think there was any one top deck that would have won me this game. Like, it might say, oh, Eagle Booster is a brick on its own. Well, I mean, think about it. What, given that this was my hand, what could I realistically have drawn that would have won me the game? Nothing, right? Like, Hornet Drone. I can't play Hornet Drones, right? Or Engage because of Anti-Spell Fragrance. Can't play any spells. If I drew Magician Souls, I'll send a Dark Magician, summon Dark Magician, run over his Doom Eagle maybe, but then he has Revolt, so he'll just make another Ominous Omen. Or either way, he's gonna trigger Ominous Omen, like to banish who would like my Dark. Like there was nothing I could do. Like if I draw Red Eyes Fusion, I can't play it, right? So yeah, this game was completely over. Yeah, unfortunate that if I had like one additional play, if I was able to just get one more body on the field, I could have gone into Anaconda and then Dragoon. But obviously, you know, the Appaloosa kept me from summoning my Fleurdelis, which sucks. But I mean, it was at 2400, right? Like, I could have normal Rod, and then, you know, if it was at 1600, like, run it, like, attack into it, and then summon Fleurdelis, but that's still just one body, right? There's no way, given my starting hand, that I was able to get. Although, but yeah, like so you saw how clutch Cosmic Cyclone is. Like you definitely want quick play back row removal against Tri-Brigade, not just because if this was Imperial Order, like you could have sniped that, but just you want to force them to revolt before the optimal time. So yeah, so I did get my one. I did get one of my side deck cards, but it's like it's just the rest of my hand was just not great. Like these two were super bricky. Like if I had maybe an Ecclesia, maybe a Souls, like I could have done. I maybe could have pulled out a win. Right. Anyway, so back to side decking for game three. So for side decking game three, so I put in summon limits. I put in the Secret Village package because I saw that in game one he had Forbidden Droplet. And my guess is that in game two, this guy is probably going to side in more back row removal, right? Because Gozen Match screwed him over in game game one. So he's probably going to go like either Lightning Storm, Twin Twisters. So yeah, Secret Village, super useful there. And then for what I took out Solemn Strike, and of course the three Nadirs were out. So this is my side decking. Summon limit is good because it usually prevents them from going into Bear Bloom, because like they summon one of the names, right? They banish to do a link 2, and usually they go Farragut first. Summon limit will stop them in their tracks. Or if it doesn't stop them in their tracks, like let's say they go Bear Bloom immediately instead of Farragut, summon limit still prevents them from summoning further. So they're gonna have a Bear Bloom on their field, unable to send it to the graveyard to get the search effect on Revolt, right? So yeah, summon limit it's pretty good. Yeah, so this is what I side decked in and what I had for game three. So let's see how that went. So honestly, this is a pretty god opening right here. Like like everything about this hand is just great. I love this hand. I was so happy when I saw this hand, um, which you'll see why. And then okay, so they do have a Lightning Storm. They probably cited that in. Let me see what they cited. Oh, okay, so that's a driver. I didn't see a Gamma in game one, so he might have cited in the Gamma package. Yep, still has Droplet, of course, a Lightning Storm, Twin Twisters. Yep, okay, so yeah, he's definitely cited in back row removal, which makes sense, right? Like I pretty much Dark Magician is a pretty heavy back row deck, and he knows he's going second. So all right, so I make the ultimate greed play here. So I go Rod into Rod Souls. So I could have hard played Red Eyes Fusion, but I decided to be greedy. So yeah, so Souls sends Red Eyes Fusion and Hornet Drones to get draw 2, right? I drew double Gozen Match, which kind of unfortunate. I'd rather just draw one Gozen Match and one other card, but that's okay. Anaconda. Grab Magician Salvation. Yeah, so this was a great opening for me, other than like the duplicate Gozen Match, but that's okay. Alright, so I have a few options here. Alright, so he uses Lightning Storm to clear my back row, and I use Solemn Judgment instead of Dragoon Negate. Why did I do that? The reason I did that is because I remember that in game 1 he had Forbidden Droplet, right? And if he had Forbidden Droplet in his hand right now, so let's say he Lightning Storm and I activate Dragoon Negate, right? He can then play Forbidden Droplet, which yes could have been I could I can Solemn Judgment in response to Forbidden Droplet, but if he has like if he uses Forbidden Droplet and sends like Imperm or like maybe a duplicate Revolt, then I can't use for Solemn Judgment, right? So I did not want to risk any situation in which this Lightning Storm went through, right? So if I Solemn Judgment, there's no way he can stop Solemn Judgment from the position he's in, right? So I'm going to use Solemn Judgment now and save my Dragoon Negate for later because I know he has Forbidden Droplet, right? And I don't want to risk not being able to use Solemn Judgment in case, Droplet sent a trap to the graveyard. Especially since he sees I have 3 back row, like, yeah, he could have, I don't know what his hand was. So yeah, so that's why I did Judgment here instead of Dragoon Negate. So, standard Tri-Brigade Fractal Kit, Nerval. Yep. So similar as before, I immediately Gozen Match, and then he tries to go the Zoodiac Zeus route. Um, kills this, attacks me directly. He goes into main phase 2, and he can't actually Zeus because, and he might have forgotten about this, but Zeus is a light monster. A lot of people don't think about what attribute Zeus is, but he's a light, so you cannot overlay light onto Earth while Gozen matches on the field. So he links away Farragut to Silver Sheller like in game 1, because he probably wants to get the draw 1. He might be trying to draw Twin Twisters. So if he had drawn Twin Twisters, he could have cleared my back row, and then you gone into Zeus. But then if he tried a Twin Twisters, I immediately Dragoon negate, right? So there was no way, like, he kind of saw the writing on the wall here and just surrendered. But yeah, Gozen Match is amazing. Solemn Judgment also super clutch. Like, I don't know, I always want to run like Solemn Judgment. Like, I didn't get my Secret Village spellcasters, and like Secret Village spellcasters would have locked down, like, completely protected me from any threat, magic spell threat, like Twin Twisters, Lightning Storm, Forbidden Droplet. But Solemn Judgment can help me do that too, right? Uh, so yeah, I love Solemn Judgment. Absolutely think you should be running it at 3 of, at the very least in your side deck, if not your main deck, for if you're a Dark Magician player. So yeah, so that was it. And then just a quick note about Solemn, about Gozen Match. So I may have mentioned to some people, like, so I went to locals this last Saturday and I did not have a good time. Like, I played, it was 5 rounds of Swiss. 4 of the games like ran out of time, so I like had 2 ties and 2 losses just from like time being called in game 3, right? Even though like for two of those games, 2 of the losses I had, they were winnable. Like, I was in a winning situation, but the rules are like, oh, when time is called, whoever has the most life points wins. And since I run, Solemn cards, I run Anaconda, I run Cosmic Cyclones. Like, in the 2 losses that I took, like, even though I was literally in a position where I was going to win, I just had less life points because I used either a Solemn Strike or an Anaconda effect. So yeah, unfortunate, but it happens. Yeah, so my locals has no Fluanderies at all. One Sword Soul player. So I'm thinking of swapping Gozen Match out, for now anyway. At least until like the decks at my meta like stabilize. Cause yeah, like, there's a lot of Speedroid. Like, Gozen Match does nothing against Speedroid. Like, there's a lot of Lyrilusk. Um, Lyrilusk is another annoying deck that people started being playing, which is all wins, right? Well, not all wins, but like some exception. Yeah. So for now, in real life, I'm going to, maybe I'll probably still keep Gozen Match, like, playing online. But for now, I'm going to put in Ice Dragon's Prison. Um, yeah, Ice Dragon's Prison is really good. And in the current meta, I feel like it can work. Like, if I do run into Flaunderies and Sword Soul, Ice Dragon's Prison can work. But it's also just like good against Dragon Link. It's good against a lot of stuff, right? Especially against a Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. So everyone in my locals is running Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, and yeah, that card is really annoying to deal with. Ice Dragon's Prison can deal with it beautifully, right? You set it, and then you wait until he uses Destroyer Phoenix's effect, and then you chain Ice Dragon's Prison. You bring back their Celestial, which is a warrior, and then you banish Celestial and Destroyer Phoenix, and then you never have to deal with them again. So yeah, I'm gonna try to run these 2 now. And honestly, like, again, your side deck options and like some of these back row slots, you can always swap out cards based on your experience, like playing at your locals, right? So yeah, so I'm thinking, like, at the moment, Gozen Match isn't quite. I mean, yeah, Gozen Match did have a few MVP moments against some decks, like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, but I think right now, until I see more Flaunderies and Sword Soul on my locals, I think Ice Dragon's Prison is going to be a good way to go. It's like, because I think this is going to just deal with Destroyer Phoenix a lot better. Um, 'Cause yeah, that's just like an annoying card, and everyone at my locals is running it, like, no joke. And then for side deck, like, I don't know, I've thought about like Droll and Lockbird as a better way to deal with Drytron than Nibiru, and then I have to think, like, I'm trying to think how many other decks Droll would be good against. Dragon Link would be good. So yeah, I might swap a Nibiru for Droll and Lockbird. And then another I haven't thought about that, but another card that was talked about by another Dark Magician duelist on the group chat, Alpha, the Master of Beasts, which is an alternative to Pankratops, or it's similar to Pankratops, where it's a free special summon going second, and it has an effect that bounces monsters to your opponent's hand. So you have a 3K beater, and then you can then use its effect to bounce. So similar to Pankratops, it can threaten 2 cards, right? Um, I don't know if I need this yet. Pankratops has been doing its job so far, but maybe I'll consider running 3 Alpha Master Beasts in my side deck. But for now, yeah. So this is definitely on my radar, and depending on how locals go, I might. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't had enough games where Nibiru was super high impact yet. Like I like I mentioned there's a lot of speedroids at my locals. Like speedroids, you have to Nibiru right before they make Crystal Wing, and most of the time they have so many extenders and like summons that you Nibiru them before they make Crystal Wing, but then they can just like bring out more monsters and make Crystal Wing anyway. So they just end their turn with Nibiru token Crystal Wing, right? So virtual world, like they can, if depending how their hand is, they can make Crystal Wing their 5th summon. Drytron can make Herald their 5th summon. So I don't know, maybe Nibiru might be sidelined for my next locals. I still have to think about it because I think perhaps Drone Lockbird might be a better fit here, or maybe just Alpha, right? Like Drone Lockbird can prevent the opponent from popping off, but Alpha is just like can just go second and just help clear their board, right? So and it's a body potentially a body for Anaconda, and Alpha's special summon effect is not once per turn, so you can summon him, bounce, and then summon him again. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so still gonna consider um, whether I should swap out Nibiru for another side deck option, but yeah, and then I guess one other small downside of Gozen Match is Gozen Match like locks you out of the Dogmatica monsters because they're lights. And that happened in this match here against the Tri-Brigade, but didn't really hurt me. Like I didn't really need those monsters, right? So it was okay. Like I feel like Gozen Match is more helpful than it is hurtful. And yeah, Gozen Match also says you cannot link your Dark Magician Way to Link Spider or Imduck, but that's also true of Rivalry of Warlords, right? So yeah. So for now, I'm gonna do Ice Dragon's Prison um, in my main deck in place of Gozen Match. Just to try this out. This is also generically going first or second card. Um, and then maybe as the meta settles, or like if it becomes clear that there's a lot of Fleurdelis or Sword Soul to deal with, maybe I'll go back to Gozen. But yeah, for now this is my main deck. And for future replays and matchups, I'll be running Ice Dragons and show replays of that. I think my next video I'll do the Lyrilusk matchup. I'll probably still have Gozen Match in that one because those replays were recorded before this one. So, okay. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all learned something, and yeah, take care.